Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be talking through a couple player props I like on Prizepicks for tonight's NBA slate on Thursday, January the 18th. Now for Thursday tonight, we have just 5 games, so it is a little bit of a smaller slate, but I still wanted to come on and give you guys some props I did like for this slate for Thursday. I got 2 props I'm liking, taking a first look at the board right now on Thursday morning when I'm recording this video. Before we do get started, guys, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you guys have not yet, and if you are new to the channel and if you don't have an account over on Prizepicks, you can sign up for Prizepicks linked down below in the description, or just use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prizepicks, and you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. Also want to shout out Sleeper, because we do have a partnership with Sleeper as well. If you guys don't have an account over on Sleeper, you can also use promo code NOAH over there, get your first deposit matched up to $500. Now, if you don't know what Sleeper is, they are an app similar to Prizepicks. They're similar to a lot of the DFS pick'em apps you see around the industry. On Sleeper, it's really simple. You're picking more or less. You're picking over or under on player projections. You can build up to an 8-pick entry over on Sleeper. You can win up to 100x your money. If you guys want to check them out, make sure, again, to use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $500. But before we talk through our 2 picks for today, guys, I do want to recap our 2 plays from Wednesday's video. So Wednesday was a tough day, man. Both the plays we gave out in Wednesday's video did not hit. We took the over on Paolo Banchero's PRA prop at 39.5, and I think Paolo finished with 34 PRA. He finished with 34 PRA, and he shot terribly from the field. I think he shot like 7 for 24. I want to say, I think it was something like that. 7 for 24, something like that from Paolo. Finished with 34 PRA. Love that matchup for him against Atlanta, but he just had a really, really poor shooting game. The volume and the usage was there. It's just that the efficiency wasn't there, which I definitely thought it would have been in that matchup. And then we took the over on Jonas Valanciunas' points prop, 13.5. And J-Val, man, he had a really bad game. Like, he didn't do anything against the Hornets, which is crazy because that's such a good matchup for J-Val. He only took like 3 shot attempts, which, I would have figured in that matchup, they would have been feeding the ball to J-Val because, the Hornets just haven't been able to stop bigs this season. But J-Val only had 4 points. He played like 15 minutes in the first half, so he was on pace to actually play like 30 minutes. But he didn't get a ton of minutes in the second half. Obviously, after he played so poorly in the first half, it was going to be hard for him to go over his points prop anyway. So that was tough, man. Frustrating, but we're going to move on to Thursday's slate, and I got 2 more props, guys, to give you for this slate for Thursday. So talking through the 2 picks I like for today, we're going to look at a points prop, and then we're going to look at a fantasy score prop. So for the points prop, I want to take a look at Zach LaVine's points prop of 19.5, and I like the over here for Zach LaVine. So you look at the Bulls this season, their offense is pretty concentrated around 4 guys, and that's DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and Kobe White. They don't get like a ton of offense from really, anyone else. I mean, Alex Caruso is not much of an offensive player. Drummond is, not an offensive player. He's a guy that does a lot of his production on the boards. And there's just not like, the other bench guys that the Bulls have. None of these guys like are super high usage players that are going to come in and take a bunch of shots. So you expect a lot of the offense to be concentrated around 4 guys mainly. And LaVine, this season, he has been, kind of up and down. Like, he's had some huge games this season. He's also had some stinkers. But I do like this matchup for him against Toronto. Toronto right now, they're pretty bad defensively. They just are not the same defensive team that they were at the beginning of the season. They traded away Pascal Siakam. They traded away OG Anunoby. Both those guys are good defenders, especially OG. OG is one of the best defenders in the league. So without OG, without Siakam, I think this matchup becomes a really good. This becomes a really good matchup for Zach LaVine. And if we do look just over their last 10 games, the Raptors, they have the 6th worst defensive rating in the league over their last 10 games. So this Raptors team has been really bad defensively as of late. You look at the matchups here for this game and like who's going to match up where. I would think Scotty Barnes, he's the best. He's probably the best defender that the Raptors have right now. I think Scotty Barnes will probably guard DeRozan here, so it should set up as a plus spot for Zach LaVine. He'll probably see Gary Trent or maybe Quickly, but either way, I think this is a good matchup for LaVine. And you look at LaVine's usage lately, like he's not had like a super high usage rate for the full season. He has a 24% usage rate, which is second on the team behind DeMar DeRozan. over their last 5 games, his usage has been down to 19%. But this is typically a player that sticks around like a 22, 23, 24% usage rate. He is typically a player that's going to average 13, 14, 15 shot attempts per game. You look at his recent games, like he had 15 shot attempts against Houston when he scored 25 points. He had 15 shot attempts against Golden State when he scored 25 points. He only shot the ball 8 times against San Antonio, which is really weird. I think that's definitely kind of an outlier. Last game against Cleveland, he did have 14 shot attempts. Came up just short of his points prop. But for most of the season, LaVine has been averaging double-digit shot attempts per game. He's consistently had the volume there. He's had a really good game last time he faced Toronto. For what it's worth, he had 36 points. It was one of his better games of the season. Last time he faced the Raptors, I don't think that really means too much because this Raptors team is obviously much different than they were then, without OG and without Siakam. But I do like the matchup here for Zach LaVine. Right now on DK Sportsbook, his over 19.5 points. It's juiced minus 130. Favoring the over here. I think it's a good spot for a lot of these Bulls guys. I think the Bulls are going to be able to put up points here on this Raptors team. The Raptors, they're on the second night of a back-to-back as well. So I like the Bulls to put up some points here. If I was sports betting, I think I would take the Bulls to win this game outright. I think I'd take them to cover the spread as well. And I do like LaVine to put up 20 points here in a good matchup against a Raptors team that's definitely probably a little bit tired right now and defensively has been much worse lately than what they were at the beginning of the season. So that's the first play I like for tonight, guys, is Zach LaVine more than 19.5 points. And then the other play that I like, a fantasy score prop, we're going to take a look at Xavier Tillman's fantasy score of 27, and I like the over here for Tillman. So if you look at Tillman's recent games, you really got to focus on these 4 games because these 4 games he was in the starting lineup. I'm pretty sure he started all 4 of these games. And if you look over that 4-game stretch where he has gone over this fantasy score in 3 out of 4. In those 4 games, he's played 28, 30, 36, and 30 minutes. Throughout his career, Xavier Tillman has typically always been a solid per-minute producer. He's one of these guys that when he gets minutes, he's going to put up stats. He's going to score. He can rebound. He can get assists. He can also get defensive stats. And if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't know what fantasy score is, it's basically like it's fantasy points. If you've ever played DFS on FanDuel or on Yahoo, they use Prizepicks uses the same scoring system that those 2 sites use. And if you go right here and you click scoring chart, you can see how the fantasy points are calculated. For every point, you get a point. For every rebound, you get 1.2 points. For every assist, you get 1.5 points. Blocks and steals are huge because those are worth 3 points each. And then for every turnover, you lose a point. But typically, Tillman is not a guy that's going to have too many turnovers. But this season, without John Morant, without Desmond Bane, who both are out right now, when you take those 2 guys off the floor, Xavier Tillman, he's been about a fantasy point per minute player. And even when he's been with those guys on the floor, he's still been about a fantasy point per minute player. Tillman obviously is not a guy that's going to they're not going to run the offense through Xavier Tillman, but he's just one of these guys that can do everything when he's on the floor. Like if you look at his recent games lately, against Dallas, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. Against the Clippers, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Against the Knicks, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 steals, and a block. And then last game against Golden State, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. So he's able to get those stocks, which are super important. He's able to score, rebound, get assists. He just does everything when he's on the floor, and he's a good per-minute producer. I would assume he plays about 30 minutes here. They're going to need his size in this matchup against Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. And while the matchup overall might not be the best, when you project Tillman for 30 minutes with the rates he's kind of had throughout his career, given he's been about a fantasy point per minute player throughout his career, I think this fantasy score line of 27 does look a little bit too low. And if you take a look at Tillman this season, when he's played at least 28 minutes, he has gone over this fantasy score line in 4 out of those 6 games. And last season, Tillman played at least 28 minutes in 14 games, and he went over this fantasy score line in 12 out of 14 games last season when he played at least 28 minutes. So typically when Tillman gets about 28, 30 minutes, I'd bet on him putting up 27 fantasy points more times than not. And as a starter lately, he has consistently been playing about 30 minutes a night, sometimes more, depending on how things go. But those are the 2 plays, guys. I do like for tonight's NBA slate for Thursday. It is a little bit of a smaller slate, 5 games, but still wanted to give you guys some early props I did like for this 5-gamer. Zach LaVine, more than 19.5 points. Xavier Tillman, more than 27 fantasy scores. So if you guys are going to tail me on these two plays, let's hopefully hit both these plays and make some money tonight. As always, guys, appreciate you watching these videos and supporting the content. Hit that like button down below if you guys did enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Be sure to go check out Prizepicks as well, guys. If you don't have an account over on Prizepicks, use that promo code NOAH when you do sign up, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code. But that's all that got for tonight, guys. Good luck on the slate. Appreciate you guys watching as always. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.